Imagine an animal weighing a ton that carves paths through metre-deep snow for hundreds of other creatures. A giant that can accelerate to 60 kilometers per hour while changing the climate of an entire region. Bison. They ruled America for 10,000 years, then humans nearly wiped them out completely, and now they have become hostages of human greed. Subscribe to the channel, it will be interesting. Bison appeared in North America during the Ice Age. Their ancestors crossed the Bering Land Bridge when mammoths and saber-toothed tigers still roamed the planet. By the 19th century, 60 million of these giants grazed across the continent. From the Mexican prairies to the Arctic tundra of Alaska, the thunder of their hooves echoed, creating a sound like rolling thunder. But the most amazing thing was not their numbers. In the north, where winters are especially harsh, bison became true saviours for other animals. They carved trails through deep snow. Imagine snow cover 5 feet high. For deer, moose and pronghorns, this is a death trap. Every step takes enormous amounts of energy, which is already scarce in winter. But bison weighing up to a ton easily ploughed their way through. Their powerful chest worked like a snowplough. Wide hooves packed the snow into solid trails. Behind the herd remained true winter highways. Other ungulates followed the bison, using their trails and conserving vital energy. Without these roads, many animals simply would not survive the harsh winters of the north. Moreover, bison broke through the icy crust on the snow with their hooves. This crust formed after thaws and became hard as concrete, preventing herbivores from reaching the grass. And in summer, bison turned into living fertilizer factories. Each animal produced up to 10 kilograms of manure daily, travelling distances up to 5 kilometers a day. Their thick fur collected seeds of dozens of plant species. Bison spread these seeds across vast territories, creating the diversity of vegetation necessary for other species. Hooves created a mosaic pattern of grazing. Areas with tall and short grass alternated, forming the ideal environment for prairie dogs, who vitally need open spaces for visibility. And dozens of other species depended on prairie dogs. The black-footed ferret fed 90% on these rodents. Burrowing owls lived in their burrows. The disappearance of one link destroyed the entire chain. In the mid-19th century, mass extermination began. The military realised that to defeat the Indian tribes, it was enough to destroy the bison, and the tribes would lose their basis of existence. Hunters received money for each killed bison. One shooter could shoot 300 animals in a day. By 1890, out of 60 million, only 540 individuals remained. The species stood one step away from complete extinction. Ecosystems began to collapse. Prairie dogs lost territories. Black-footed ferrets died out. The land became covered with an impenetrable crust and turned into wasteland. But through the efforts of Mexican and US authorities, in the 20th century, bison restoration programs began. It was a long and difficult process. And by 2020, the population grew to 500,000 animals. It seemed like a victory. But in reality, a new tragedy began. Most modern bison live like livestock on private ranches. They are bred for meat, their genetics are managed, their movements controlled. These are no longer wild animals. Only about 30,000 truly wild bison remain, and most of them are locked in national parks. Yellowstone, Wind Cave, several reserves in Canada. They live in giant open-air prisons. The problem is that bison do not understand human boundaries. For them, it is natural to migrate in search of pastures, as they did for thousands of years. But when they go beyond park boundaries, death awaits them. Every winter, hundreds of bison leave Yellowstone, heading to lowlands where it is easier to find food. As soon as they cross the park boundary, shooting begins. Up to 900 animals are killed in one season. The official reason is the danger of spreading brucellosis among livestock. This disease really exists in bison, although not a single case of cattle infection from wild bison has been recorded. The paradox is that the bison themselves got brucellosis from livestock in the early 20th century. Now they are killed for a disease that humans gave them. It is like punishing a victim for a crime against them. Montana ranchers are categorically against expanding territories for bison. They own huge ranches around Yellowstone and do not want to share land with wild animals. Every acre for them is money. Ranchers claim that bison compete with their cattle for pastures. They talk about risks to business, about potential losses, about private property rights. For them, bison are a threat to income. Local authorities are on the side of ranchers. Montana earns billions from livestock, and politicians do not want to conflict with the powerful cattle lobby. Bison are losing this battle. Some ranchers go beyond official culling. Poaching has become a serious problem in recent years. Bison are killed secretly, simply for appearing on the wrong side of the fence. Poachers operate at night, using silencers and thermal imaging. They do not take meat, do not remove hides, simply kill and leave carcasses to rot. The goal is to scare animals, force them to stay away from private lands. Ecologists propose creating buffer zones around national parks where bison could move freely, but this requires buying out land from ranchers for millions of dollars, and authorities are not ready to spend money. An alternative is vaccinating bison against brucellosis. The vaccine exists and works effectively, but mass vaccination of wild animals is technically difficult and expensive. You need to catch each bison twice. Another option is creating new populations in territories where there is no conflict with livestock. Several projects are being implemented in Alaska and northern Canada, where bison can live relatively freely. In Mexico, a small group of bison is successfully restoring degraded lands in the Llanos Reserve. In 15 years, 23 animals turned into 200, and the land began to come alive. But even these successful projects face problems. Poachers penetrate reserves. Local populations are sometimes hostile to restoration programs. Funding is constantly being cut. Recent studies have shown that bison play an important role in fighting climate change. Their grazing promotes the growth of deep-rooted grasses, which store more carbon in the soil than shallow-rooted plants. Scientists calculated that restoring bison populations to historical levels could sequester millions of tons of carbon annually. This is comparable to the effect of planting huge forests. But instead of using this potential, humans continue to keep bison in reservations, or kill them for trying to live freely. Animals that could help the planet have become hostages of economic interests. The history of bison shows our unwillingness to share space with wildlife. People saved them from complete extinction, but did not give them real freedom. They live in cages without bars, surrounded by invisible boundaries. The most important question remains open. Is humanity ready to share land with wildlife? Is it ready to sacrifice part of its interests for the sake of preserving ecosystems that support life on an entire continent? What would you do in the place of those who make decisions? Be sure to write about it in the comments.